The Nikki Glazer Podcast. The Nikki Glazer Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Here I am. Welcome to the Nikki Glazer Podcast. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. That's what I meant to say it. Like, it's Wednesday. Oh boy. What a show we have for you today. We have a special guest on. I'm excited to have him in. It was an impromptu booking of just like, I want to hear what this dude has to say about my co-host, Andrew Collin, someone who knows him very closely and personally and has good stories about the way he was. Because like we were talking about on the show yesterday, you only like remember things the way you remember them. And there's always someone else's side of the story. And Andrew is very good about presenting himself as he was in the past, like telling the really like sad parts of his life. And some of it makes me want to cry just of how, oh man, there was a story this weekend about he and his girlfriend getting a cat, which I'm sure he just got this cat to like impress her because, you know, his college relationship with this girl was just him like trying to win her back. Then he would get her back. He would like work out and get in good shape and take care of himself, stop drinking. She would come back to him. Then he would fall apart again and then she would reject him. And then the other day, I guess we talked about this on air the other day. He was like, she never went down on me. And it was like, yeah, because you didn't wash yourself. Like we figured out that she wasn't just like frigid or not giving. It's like, you know, you look back on relationships and you can, when you hear one side of like a breakup, it just is so easy to villainize the other person and not have any perspective of like, no, I've heard about your past boyfriends and I'm like, oh, I hate them. But it's like, if I talk to them, they might have a little, a tale to tell, you know? Do you feel
so many?
Do you feel like, I mean, in the, there are things that I am like very ashamed of in relationships in the past. And like, I kind of was talking to one of my exes today about, he was kind of talking about, he does a radio show here in St. Louis and he was talking about, I listen to the radio show every morning and he was talking about, podcasts, like what's the most niche podcast that you would want to start? And they were just talking about different funny ideas. And, he said to me just in a text, like, oh, I want to start a podcast where people who've been talked about on podcasts come on to set the story straight and say like and it's called like The Other Side. And I was like, ugh, I know. And then I went into this whole apology again to him of like, I was in a bad place. And he was like, oh, I didn't mean this to like bring up something. I was just like saying that's an idea. And I'm like, no, it's not. First of all, it's not a bad idea to have like, it would be interesting to have a podcast where it's like two sides of a breakup where the first episode well, I guess I've done that before with like different shows that show the different ways people have interpreted it. Like, I guess The Affair was like that. Did you ever watch that show?
No, I never watched it.
It was about the two sides of an affair and like how someone's what happened on their side of things. And then of course the Taylor Swift song the songs that I love so much, from Folklore, where she writes about this like high school affair. You get all the sides of the story and you can empathize with all of the characters because it takes two to tango. But, you know,
right.
It's what would ex-boyfriends say about you, Noah, in terms of like,
No, don't make me reveal
no,
it.
really? I mean, you
No.
don't have to, but like,
They would say that I was jealous. I was like probably unhinged, I think would be a word they would use.
unhinged is that's the new like nag. You know what I mean? Like there's certain words for women. That's the new cunt. I would rather be called a cunt than unhinged or spiraling. Like that's a trigger for me.
Oh,
Just any kind of
spiraling, I
like,
think is worse.
if you look up the word, if you do, look up crazy in a thesaurus, any word that follows that would be one that I don't like. But unhinged means she doesn't know how she's coming off. Like that's my biggest fear
Yes.
of like, people are talking about me behind my back of like, ugh, no, the elephant in the room is that Nikki is crazy. I don't mind being told to my face I'm unhinged while I'm being unhinged. But when it's like later on, I found out people have like talked about it, and they're like, yeah, we kind of all noticed like you were pretty unhinged. Like that would be. I don't want to be like an old cabinet door. I don't want to be unhinged. I like, yeah. What are other adjectives that I just cannot stand? I mean, when Joe Rogan called me a lot, that hurt, but I let it in, and I use it now as my intro. Andrew, when he brings me on stage, he says like, you know her from the roasts and her comedy specials, and Joe Rogan called her a lot. I just like it because it kind of does prepare people for what they're about to get. I am a lot, and that's okay. But it was interesting to talk to my ex and like this morning kind of go over, because we've already talked about it extensively about where like when I would, misrepresent things in podcasts, my side of the story. And it was like I was in pain and I didn't know how to deal with it. So I was just blathering on and making myself the victim because I was like, I didn't respect myself at that time. I was like in the depths of like just, abusing myself with food and pot and just like overworking. And like, if you are, we all know this, but if you're treating yourself like shit, you're definitely going to treat other people like shit. It's going to be your first inclination actually is to like treat others like crap because, and it's hard not to. I was a total bitch this weekend. And I regret it. And I owe, like I said, I owe an apology. I mean, I already apologized, but I think I owe another one. And what I would like to say is how I did that too. We kind of talked about it. It was with my tour manager and, Anya, my opener, is my tour manager's girlfriend. And my tour manager is like this amazing, accomplished musician, Matt Pond. Matt Pond, PA, is his name that he uses as a musician. But he's incredible and like so hardworking and just wants everything to go so smoothly. He's always trying to do his best. And we landed at an airport and there was no plan of like how to get to the hotel because it was a small airport. There's no Ubers, there were no taxis, and we were just all kind of like looking at each other. And if it were up to when I travel alone, when I used to. I know that this is a small airport, so I've already looked into what am I going to do to get there? Is there a shuttle? Is someone from the festival picking me up? And we all just were kind of like looking at each other like, wait, I thought you knew. And I'm like, if I would have known that we didn't have a plan, I would have done it myself. And then I just hate waiting. I hate getting somewhere and like just sitting around and waiting. I'm really uncomfortable with it, and that's my problem.
You're really efficient with your time. It's something that I really love about you. Like, you know how to like plan your day, like to the T. You know exactly how long something will take, at what minute you're going to arrive.
Yeah.
You're so efficient with time. I love that.
I really am. I mean, I haven't been great about it with you because I'll be like 7 minutes and then it'll be more like 9 minutes. But usually I am really good about, I will be there. Yesterday I was running late for a sound healing session and I go, I'll be there. Supposed to be there at 4. I was like 4:09, and I got there exactly at 4:09. Like I'd rather say that than 4:10. But the thing is, I leave no space to wait because when I wait, I feel I just get so angry when my time is being used to just do nothing. I can always be on my phone, or I could I could read something. I could read an article. I could sit down and read while they figure out the car situation. I didn't need to freak out and be like, I need to know where we're like, it just was unnecessary and everyone's trying their best. And, I want to make sure it doesn't happen again. So part of me is like, I need to scare everyone with my mood so that they know that this is not to happen again. But that's not the right way to do it. And I hate when people shut down, and I would rather a confrontation of like, why don't we have a ride? Who said that we were supposed to, and like look someone in the eye? But I'm so bad with confrontation that instead I am talking as I'm looking in my phone and just like muttering under my breath. Then I go and I sit over by myself and I'm like, I'm just going to take care of it. And I go off by myself and leave everyone. It's just like, and then I'm in the car on the shuttle to the hotel and I'm just quiet listening to like my music. And it's just like, you're creating an air of like, I'm pissed and everyone has to sit in this fucking water that you just pissed in. Like I peed in the hot tub And it's just rude. And I think everyone relates to it. And I know that people are going to be like, Nikki's such a bitch. Why did she do this? I'm telling you I was a bitch. I'm aware of it. So don't get mad at me. There's no one on earth who hasn't let their anger get the best of them in situations. I'm able to look at it and go, oof, I don't want to do that again. How can I not? And I think it's just a matter of, I don't know. What do I do in that moment? I think it's a matter of realizing no one's trying to make me mad. Like, that's the thing I always beg when I make someone mad or would make my ex-partners like mad. I'd be like, will you just forgive me? Because I promise you it wasn't intentional. Like, I'm not trying to hurt you. So will you just extend that it's like forgiveness, because you know it's an accident. Like, if I was maliciously doing something and trying to connive a way of like, I'm gonna hurt him, which I've done before to people, it's just a disgusting thing, but I have been premeditated in my like bitchiness, but or
I want to
hurt people.
I want to say that like you acknowledging this on the show and going through it is not making an excuse for you doing it. I think this is a process, and like you said that you used to be like, you know, like when you would do this it was very like premeditated. I think this is like a phase that you have to go through before you learn how to deal with what happens to you emotionally.
Yes. Yeah, you have to walk yourself through it and go, okay, this is what happened. And it's so embarrassing. I mean, none of this is like, and this was 2 days ago. This wasn't years ago where I'm like, oh, I've changed since then. And yeah, I guess I just am reluctant to share things because in the past when I've shared that I was bitchy, people have been like, Nikki treats all her friends so terribly. And I'm like, I told you I did.
True.
I'm aware of it. Like,
right.
You don't have to tell me, and you don't have to talk amongst yourselves about it. And I'm trying to be better. I know it's wrong, but I mean, for the most part, I think that I've gotten a lot better at it. And I just have to remember, it's like the golden rule. That's like, would I want someone to do this to me? But then I go, I would never fuck it up this way. I would have done this. And it's like, yeah, you would have, but you're not the person that this person is. So maybe their experience, the way they handled things, wouldn't have thought 1,000 steps ahead. I just think too many steps ahead. And you're right, Noah. Like today I'm having lunch with a friend and I get done. I'm working on writing a book, and I have a meeting with the woman that's helping me do that from 1:30 to 2:30, and I'm meeting my friend for lunch right downstairs from me. And I was like, I'm just gonna tell him 2:45 because even that is too much time in between things. I just want to go boom boom. But I go, what are you doing today? I actually go, let's do 3:00 so that like. Maybe I have time, but here's the problem. If I make it 3:00, I'll pick up my guitar and I will get lost in a song and I'll be like, one more, and then I'll be late. But if I'm stacking things, I don't have time to get distracted in between. I think it's an ADD thing. I don't know. I'm just very, I also, last night, Andrew and I went out. For the first time ever, we socialized. We went to a bar on Cherokee Street, if you're familiar with St. Louis. It was called Whiskey Ring. We said the name was K. My friend Taylor is in town. She's from, she was in Tulum with us. And then she's in town for like a wedding. And so we met her and a bunch of her friends down there. And then I was like, Andrew, will you go with me? And then I invited a couple people who are in town who are going to be following me around with cameras. Can't really get into details about that, but I met them. And we're about to start that process. There are people that moved to St. Louis to follow me around with cameras, is all I can say right now. And they're living here for 8 weeks. Like, they live in LA and New York, respectively. And there's, I think, 5 people here just living here. And so I invited them out too, because we're about to start this thing together on Saturday. And honestly, when I went out and decided to do this thing where I get followed around with cameras, I didn't understand like how much time they would be following me around. Let me just say, I just thought, I don't know what the fuck I thought. Honestly, no clue what I thought this was going to be. Found out last night in a like fun bar setting that it was going to be 10 hours a day of being followed by cameras. Let me just say, I almost started crying and I had to like keep it in because what that said to me, and by the way, my only break from being filmed 10 hours a day is going on the road and working and traveling all day and doing shows at night. So for the next 8 weeks, I have 0 days where I'm not working, like literally 0 days. I've set myself up for this. I asked for it. I started kind of panicking because I'm like, I need sleep. And I like to stay up. 10 hours a day, that's a fine work day of being followed around, but I'm doing activities all day. I mean, this isn't just watching me play guitar and like talk to Andrew in my kitchen. This is, and make my bed maybe. Like this is going out and doing things, which, you know, you guys know I don't like things. And I kind of freaked out, Noah. Like I just got really quiet and started thinking like, oh my God, like I thought it was maybe a couple hours a day. But why would a crew move out here for a couple hours a day? That doesn't make sense. Like, this is going to be a lot of work. But then I was like, okay, it's 8 weeks. That's fine. And I'm honestly doing this because I want to be totally okay exposing like every part of myself. And it's not because I'm like, I think I'm so interesting. I need the world to see. And this needs to be documented. I mean, maybe it's a little that, but it's mostly like, I think this is for me to put myself out there as much as possible so that my biggest fear is people seeing me for who I really am and them not liking it. Like, you know, intimacy. So getting close to someone, having them see all your flaws, and then being like, actually, you're not what I thought you were. You suck. And so I'm doing my biggest fear of like, I'm not gonna be able to hide who I am at all in this. I'm not buying a new wardrobe for it. I'm not cleaning my house. I'm not doing anything different. I'm just like being myself, wearing my hair the same way, not getting hair and makeup done for this, gonna be on camera, normal. And it really is, I realized last night, a experiment for myself to accept myself for what I am and not try to present anything else to the public or wherever this ends up. I can't tell you where yet. You know, like it's for me to go, here I am, and if you don't like it, that's okay. I'm gonna live. It's like Dancing with the Stars. Like I thought dancing live on TV and getting eliminated first, if you would have presented that scenario to me before I went on that show, I would have said, that is the worst thing that could ever happen. I'll never recover. Well, guess what? It was fine. And that taught me things that you fear. If you set yourself up to do things that you're scared of, on the other side of it, you have this immense freedom of like, oh, I could do anything. You know, like, what's like a thing you've done, Noah, that you were really scared to do that you did, even though you didn't want to, but like you did it only because you know that feeling on the other side of it? And did you know you were going to have that feeling? Because I didn't know once you lean into something you're so scared of and get through it, it opens you up to a world of possibilities, not just that thing again, but like anything.
Yes. I guess I would say like camping or any kind of like mountaineering or thing really outside my element.
Like ice mountaineering? Like didn't
Ice
you go
climbing.
ice?
Yeah. I went ice climbing, just like doing, yep. Something that I would never even imagine myself doing.
God. I mean, I get nervous when I try to fix my ice maker and lift the little bar up so it starts making it again. And like, I'm gonna like that kind of stuff. Yeah. You've competed with
in jiu-jitsu.
You've done horseback riding. You bought manuals on how to fix your house. Like you go into things that you're not naturally like, no one would go, oh yeah, that's what girls, that's what a 5'2", are you 5'2"?
5'3".
5'3", like girly girl would do. And then you realize like, I mean, I have a joke about it in my act and I don't want to ruin it, but like after I licked a man's asshole one time, I was like, that's the most disgusting. I never, ever would have dreamed of doing that. I would maybe nightmared about doing it, but I would never want to do that. It wasn't like I was like, I want to and I'm scared. Like even Dancing with the Stars, I wasn't like, I want to. I was like, I actively never want to. That's not, don't ever offer me that. And the same with licking ass like at one time. And I hate to be disgusting, but on the other side of licking a man's asshole, I was like, I can do anything. I could be president. So let's get Andrew in here. Andrew! Hey, Andrew.
Yo.
Yo. I was just telling Noah that we went out last night and socialized.
Whoa, man.
Dude,
It got wild, dude.
We've never socialized.
It was.
I'm
did
so
you-
glad you went because at first you were like, I don't want to go.
Well, I just woke up from a nap ski. I was a little tired ski. Yeah. Did you say the name of the place?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whiskey
Kuh.
Ring.
Whiskey Ring, where you don't know what's gonna happen, but you kind of do.
It's just like a bunch of people drinking
It was-
outside, but it was a cool vibe.
By
I
the
liked
way,
it.
By the way, St. Louis hipsters are so much cooler than Brooklyn
actual
hipsters.
hipsters.
Yeah, because they're like their parents aren't rich. They're paying probably $200 in rent to live on top of a rat. Like, you know what I mean? Like they probably travel by rat.
They really are.
They're like hipsters. And I was like looking around. I was like, I kind of respect these hipsters because they're not.
They're not cuh.
They're not.
They're just the way that they're just different.
It reminds me of how my
wanting-
stepbrother is like Florida. Like he has 80 tattoos, but none of them are ironic. It's like my dead cousin, my wave, a snake. Like, but they're not like they're cool, but like he just
There's no sense of irony.
No.
Your cousin probably doesn't even know what
he doesn't even know why the snake would be
funny to
funny.
anyone else.
It's just a cool snake.
Yeah, I mean he's Jake the Snake, right?
Yeah.
Why is he that?
Because he got a snake on his
Okay,
arm.
well that's hilarious. That the snake tattoo preceded the nickname.
It might,
Did you want to be Andrew the Jaguar?
it doesn't rhyme though. What
Andrew
could rhyme?
the-
Andrew the.
The
What are you, Nikki?
age inappropriate tattoo?
Yeah, Nikki the. Maybe we'll get her eyelashes tattooed one day.
I mean, I would like to get a tattoo one day just to because it's just like this preciousness about not doing it is almost cuh.
Yes.
Like, you know, like being like, I don't have tattoos is cuh too.
Saying you don't have. I was watching this TikTok video that really made me laugh. People that don't drink coffee. They're like, I don't drink coffee. Like this girl was making fun of people that say they don't drink coffee.
Yes.
And she just
I
kept
mean,
going.
they are better than the rest of us, I think. They're just like pure human. Because we're all fucking doped up on this thing that we all think is like makes us normal, but it
Yes.
makes us insane. That's why we all have anxiety disorders because we're just imbibing caffeine all the time. Like this mainlining this, it's a drug.
Yeah.
That's so, but
If you never think it's a drug, just go to the airport and see the line at Starbucks and see the line for Chick-fil-A. Those two, I don't know what they put in Chick-fil-A, probably coffee and chicken.
fat and sugar and
Yeah.
oil, you know, and like
It was
salt.
so one time I was at the airport and the line for Chick-fil-A was like a mile. And then you know how McDonald's copied their chicken sandwich?
I didn't know that.
Oh,
but,
they
okay.
pretty much verbatim. They tried to. It was called the Southern Chicken Sandwich. And the lady working at McDonald's goes, "We got the same sandwich. We got the same." The lady, she just kept going, "We got the same sandwich."
I mean, when I have to go Dunkin's instead of Starbucks or like a Pete's
Yeah.
coffee or a Caribou coffee, I just am like a little bit, you know, it's just there's some they figured out something that makes it addictive. It's not about like it actually tastes better. I just don't subscribe to that. And you know how I feel about coffee. It doesn't taste good.
Yes.
Children would drink it if coffee tasted good. When children accidentally drink an iced coffee thinking it's a Coke, they spit it out in disgust. Unless it's super sugary, which is why people add sugar to make it taste better.
Have you ever said your order on here?
I mean, probably
Let's go through
not.
your order because it's a fun one.
I spend $20 a day on coffee.
It's your only vice.
I am not proud of that. I don't think it's cool. It's actually kind of to even say that I do that. Like it's embarrassing. No, there's nothing. It's not because I don't think I'm cool, but it is. That's why I don't like having people buy me coffee because it's too embarrassing to tell them what I want.
Yeah.
I often just send a screenshot of the order from the mobile app because writing it out
Or saying
looks
it
like
out
I'm
loud.
sending a text message, an apology to someone. You know, it's just a tower of text. Okay, so mine is a venti extra hot almond milk latte with 2 stevia and 2 pumps of sugar-free vanilla. Thank you. And it's
Extra
usually
hot.
It's usually preceded extra hot. Sorry, an
Extra
extra
hot.
hot venti. This is how I order. Hi, can I get a And it's in this voice
Yeah,
because
I
I'm
think-
already really
It's like
sorry that
when
I'm
you get a
ordering
salad from Subway. It's the same voice.
it. It's the same voice. I'm about to be a twat. So, like, I just want you to know that, like, I'm gonna tip you enormously on the back end of this. So, hi, yeah, can I get venti extra hot almond milk latte with 2 pumps of sugar free. And then they type it in, and I go, and they go, is that all? And I go, with 2 pumps of sugar free vanilla. All right, is that all? Can I get anything else? And 2 stevia. We have a sugar bar. I'm like, oh, you implemented that again. Okay, great. Oh, I'll put it in myself. Okay, thank you so much. And then they say, then it's just, and then I say sorry. A bunch.
I wonder if they they get absurd orders all day long.
I mean, I follow the
And I'm not
subreddit
saying-
and I know exactly what they get and like how ridiculous it gets. This is not terrible in terms of a drink to make as a barista. This
Yeah.
isn't the worst of the worst.
I'm saying it could be fun for them to get an absurd drink. You know, like I get a fucking small coffee with oat milk and 2 stevia. They're like, oh, boring. Maybe it's fun for them to put in 9 pumps and get it right, and like I don't
We'd
know,
have
like
to ask. Yeah.
or they hate it, or they hate
I know
everything.
that, but I just know that their favorite drink when you order it, besides I think maybe just a regular drip coffee with nothing,
Yeah.
is an iced chai latte.
Why is that the easiest?
It's just ice and then you pour in 2 things,
Okay.
as opposed to like steaming and then mixing and shaking and blending and all these other things. Like iced chais are, in terms of the manpower that goes into it, the most marked up thing.
It is so interesting. I think like you're talking how coffee's a drug, weed is a drug, but if you make it commercialized and like a fun sign, like you could sell anything. It's like big pharma, whatever,
Yeah.
selling oxycodone, but it's in a pharmacy. Like it's just interesting. Like if you package something right, you
marketing.
could lie to everyone and be like, oh wow, that
Well,
is.
I mean, I see you eating things all the time that are like have a green package, so you think they're healthy. Like I
Yeah.
know your brain
well,
goes
I eat the cardboard around it.
like you'll buy those juices a lot of times.
Not a lot.
And thinking,
I've
like-
been I haven't been Mr. Juice, but I used to be
But
Mr.
people,
Juice.
I see
Yeah.
people drinking juices and smoothies, and it's just this illusion of health because it's fruits and vegetables, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
how could that be bad? And it's if you look at those the sugar content, it's 3 Snickers. I mean, it's insane. And
But I'm getting my broccoli.
but it has a vegetable on the cover of it, on the package. I mean, everything is marketing. I mean, that's what we talked about with The Edge. The comedian is
Yeah.
like, that's all marketing. That's using people's stupidity and the way our brains work. People, especially ad geniuses and people who, sell this stuff, go in and go, we've done studies, and the color of the font on Facebook, the shape of the C and how they, every little thing.
Yeah.
Starbucks, like the color, the music they play, the wood they use.
The
in
hot
there,
girl with the green face.
the way they call their employees partners, and like it's all done so that you buy more. It's not done because they're like good people or because this is good for you. Like,
Hey, it's just a small town coffee
There are
shop that
s-
was started in Seattle in a little marketplace.
yeah, we saw it this weekend.
Yeah, we didn't
But
go into it.
Everything is I mean, I'm fascinated by it. I really want to get in more into, the psychology of things and why we do things. I mean, we got into an interesting discussion last night about polyamory and monogamy that, we should follow up on. I started like reading up on polyamory because I'm just like, yeah, I think that's what we're meant to do. And I think that monogamy, I don't know. I just came upon the idea of, I heard this once, but people are like, no, you can't be in 2 relationships and love 2 people equally. That's not possible. Like if you have one boyfriend, you can't have another boyfriend. You're not gonna love one as much as the other. One's
Yeah.
always gonna get more love. Okay, that's what everyone says. I would never let my boyfriend have another girlfriend because then he's gonna love her more than me, or he's gonna love me more than her, and I'm not gonna get all of him. What about when you have kids? If you have one kid and then you decide to have a second kid, does anyone go, I don't think you should have that second kid because you're gonna have to split your love.
Yeah, you
And that-
didn't even fuck the first one. No, I'm just fucking.
no one says that about when someone has 5 kids. They don't go, well,
Well, how many partners is too many? Do you
however
think?
many you want. Like, I just feel like if you told me, I said this last night to you, and I'm not saying that I want this because I think that the thing is it's all about sex. When you bring sex into something, it changes it. That is the difference between friendships, having children, and pets, multiple pets. When you have multiple sex partners and having that like love intimacy, people just cannot handle sharing that. But we share everything else. If you said to me, Nikki, I don't know, your friendship with Anya, like we're best friends and you say Anya's your best friend too. Like I
Yeah.
think you need it's either me or her because I need your like best friendship. I would be like, fuck you, Andrew. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not allowed to have more than one friend. That's insane. Yet for some reason we all go, oh, you can't possibly have two boyfriends. And it's like, wait, why?
Yeah.
If everyone gets tested and we take the risk.
Well, I think if it's an open communication, you're honest about the situation. I just think like if you're dating one and the other one doesn't
no,
know.
I'm talking about honest.
Yeah, if it's honest, then I think it's fine. I
Of
honestly
course,
don't
but
have
no
arguments
one-
with it.
No, that's not the point. My
Yeah.
point is, yeah, there are people that are fine with it and honest. There's poly communities,
Yeah.
but I'm saying no, they're so few. If you want to be polyamorous, it lowers your like dating pool down to nothing.
Yes.
like there are so few people, and it's all based on
Well,
ownership.
it's also interesting. It's like, well,
And jealousy.
once you classify yourself as dating someone, then it's exclusive. But anytime before that, you could date multiple people, sleep with many people, like many people.
Not openly, not because you can't. You know when you.
Well, you don't
before
ask,
you
don't
and-
tell. You
I
don't-
know,
yeah.
but then you know if you want to date someone else while you're dating this girl, you're worried that she might see you with them. Like if you ran into each other, it would be a whole mess.
I'm agreeing with you though. I'm saying the point is like we go from like you could date multiple people and you can go on different dates and you need to date more. You need to like a lot of people.
Yeah, go
and then
on-
you go from there to one person.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like a big jump and there's nothing really kind of in the middle of like let's
know.
kind of date and
I
kind of
just-
love each other and multiple people.
I just
You know
had
what I mean?
a like a really like I don't know an awakening yesterday where I was just like, wait, why do we only get one? I'm really like.
Well, how about this? Write into the show if you're a married couple and you're happy and explain why it's great to be married. And then if you're polyamorous, let's hear from you and say why it's great and maybe hear from actually people that are going
I don't want
through
to
it.
prompt that yet because we haven't gotten into why that's the prompt. You just jumped a big thing.
Yeah, I went
You
big. I went
but
ham.
We gotta get
Ham
we gotta
drop.
get to the news, but I just want to bring that up. And if anyone out there, I will say, if anyone out there is in the poly community and wants to forward me any like research, like scientific research about why it works, why it doesn't
Yeah.
work, why monogamy even exists, and any books, I would really like to hear about it and read about it. But don't come on to me and ask me to like fuck you or anything like that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want someone to be like, I would love you to be one of my girlfriends. That's not what I'm looking for. I want research on it. Let's get to the
You heard
news.
it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Oh boy, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means? Our video is coming out on YouTube. I don't know what our name of our channel is going to be, but do we know?
Do we know, Noah?
Yeah, the Nikki Glazer podcast. But there's a link on it on our Instagram page.
Yes.
And when time is it coming out?
I mean, it'll be out by the time this episode
It's
is
gonna. So yeah, the episodes are gonna be like a few days behind, like the video.
So
release
Monday's episode is out
versus-
today on Wednesday.
Right,
So-
and at about 2 p.m.
Oh, beautiful.
Eastern time.
Yeah. So by the time this podcast is coming out,
Awesome.
it's well online.
And have all the swells.
Oh, right. Never forget. Well, that's not. Never forget to say that.
Analyzing over
What?
Analyzing? That's a fun word.
Wait, just say
I know it. Analyzing.
Okay. Yeah.
Over 300,000 songs from Spotify playlists. The world's most popular funeral songs for 2021 are revealed.
Oh, I hope you had this. Is that on there? Good riddance.
Cigarette Daydreams.
Yeah.
What's Cigarette Daydreams?
Is Cage the Elephant. Shit, I can't. I
I can't even play like 10 seconds of it.
You would know it if you just play it in your ear. You would know it once you start playing
Okay.
it. 'Cause it's one of those songs, but I can't believe it's number one. See You Again. Oh. I
don't know that song.
Really?
Nope.
All right, well. it's
Keep
not
that
gonna be
elephant in
played
that
at your-
cage.
Yeah, he's getting in there. See You Again by Charlie Puth.
What is that song?
I want to see you. It's like the sad song he wrote on his keyboard.
Thanks for letting us know how he wrote it. Wait, I don't know that song either.
I bet you know that one.
Charlie Puth.
Play it. Let's see. This is so funny. You go to someone's funeral and you're just mad you don't know the song.
Okay.
Like, really? He died and he picked that
It's not
song?
even coming up like for like the See You Again. It's not even. There's a Miley Cyrus See You Again. Puth.
Puth.
I mean, it's literally not coming up.
Well,
Wait.
it's a Wiz Khalifa song.
Oh yeah, in the long
Time.
out to my friend, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, Taylor Swift sings a great version of that in a live with
maybe
Wiz
that could be
Khalifa.
at your funeral.
And she's like, "Oh, it's so good. You guys got to check her out singing that live with Wiz Khalifa."
Mr. Loverman, which I played
What?
Ricky Montgomery. It's
Mr. Loverman.
just a sad singer-songwriter guy. That
What do you
I'm-
want at your funeral? What songs we talking?
I don't know. This made me think differently because you got Supermarket Flowers, you got Take Me Home Country Road, or Creep, I'll See You Again, like all these
Creep?
sad ones, and then you
So I creep. Oh no, Radiohead. I was gonna say, what the hell? I'm a creep, and I would want to do the choral version that was in the.
I don't want no scrubs.
I mean,
like that's just
will you
such a
please
fun-
put Scrubs on my funeral playlist?
That's what I'm saying.
You have to.
There's
Just one at like when there's the slideshow playing of all of my memories.
number 12 is Super
Scrub
Bass,
is a
Super
guy that-
Bass by Nicki Minaj, which made me think completely different about my funeral. Super Bass.
Oh, no, I know.
know.
This one was for the boys with the school assistants. That little girl singing on Ellen. Ding 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 ding. Got that super bass. Why is that a funeral song?
Well, why
you
are we
kidding me?
picking sad songs? Why don't we fucking do some fun shit? I mean, New Orleans funerals are the best.
There is, I guess maybe it's in a minor key. I don't know anything about music, but there is something about the background noise of the super bass song that starts out. It's like, like there's a little bit of like a sadness to it. And I know minor keys are the ones that make things sadder.
Yeah, there is a little bit of like a like.
What do you want to play at your funeral?
Well, that kind of
tomorrow?
changed how I would view it. I think it would be very funny to play "Dead Wrong" by Biggie Smalls and Eminem because it's so inappropriate.
Oh, I
just
don't know
to
that.
see like some people going, "Is this someone played a wrong song?" Like I just
Right.
want one person to go, and maybe then in the middle of it, it switches over to some John Prine song, and then back to "Dead Wrong," and they'd be like, Andrew got us even in death."
My dad should do your Puddles theme song.
Oh, at my funeral.
I'll sing it with him.
Wait, you think your dad's outliving me here?
I mean, based on your eating habits, no.
Super bass.
No, my dad is probably going to last a pretty long time. Although he is tall, and tall people don't live that long.
Yeah, why is that? Because they have to hold their hearts.
Maybe
Like,
it's he has a
harder.
lot to support. It's a
How tall is he though? He's like 6'2".
he's 6'2".
Yeah, that's not so tall though. Where it's like, 6'10". They like die from just
toppling
falling.
over from-
Yeah, just being so high up there.
Just steel beams melting it, jet fuel melting them. I don't know what I'm talking about.
What, paper airplanes hitting them and then they melt to death?
Yeah,
Okay, so next story.
that's a good one. Do
You
you
have-
believe that airplanes in the
The
night
night
sky are
skies.
like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now. Wish right now.
What happened to that guy, Bob? B.O.B.
B.O.B. I don't know.
Bob. Bob is such a
Haley,
funny-
whatever her name is from Paramore. She's got a great voice.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, I like her a lot. She does a great version of "Use Somebody," Kings of Leon.
She does.
Oh,
You know who does a great? Chris Cornell does. The guy that died.
Yeah.
What the fuck song did he do? God, it's such a good rendition. It's acoustic and it's in serious. I forget the name of it. But
he did it on
you just-
Howard, probably.
I think so, and
Yeah.
it's so fun. He like
I
you
love
don't
acoustic
realize these
versions.
rock and roll guys that like sing, like they could obviously hit these notes.
Yeah.
When they're just acoustic, you're like, oh, they're like the best singers on earth.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just think rock and roll's just screaming. I mean, not like Slipknot, who got taken down by MGK.
Oh yeah, that was. What did he say
Oh, I
again?
saw that.
Did you see that, Noah?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
What did he say?
Well, there was
for our listeners
um
and me.
they were both performing at Riot Fest, and they were
You sent me
I sent
this.
it
You
to
sent
you.
me this. That's why.
Sorry, go on.
and they were both playing at the same time, and MGK goes something like, "Oh,
He said
better
to his-
that you're
You're
here than yeah,
He said to the people like at his show, yeah, like to the crowd.
better that you're here than some old guys in like weird masks."
50-year-old men in weird masks.
Yeah.
And well, because Slipknot said, we don't change or, essentially they were calling out MGK for being a failed rapper, and that's why he went into, Blink-182 rock.
It got a little it got a little deeper than that because when I found out more details, apparently Corey Taylor was supposed to do some tracks on Machine Gun Kelly's song, and Machine Gun Kelly like had a lot of notes for him Travis Barker like forwarded an email, and after Corey Taylor started, he's like, you know what, I think this is like not like, I don't think I'm the right fit for it.
Is he the lead singer of Slipknot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What did he tell him? To take off the mask and act your age and put on a polo? Put on a polo shirt and
chasing
come in.
ghosts.
I did see a really funny meme on Reddit last night that said, like, Metallica fan, and it was like some guy dressed like heavy metal, and it was like Metallica lead singer, and it was a guy holding like a Versace shopping bag in a polo with like white shorts and like a cut, like perfectly cut hair with his kids.
I love that.
I love
though.
that too.
But someone made a tweet though of MGK being like, "Fuck you, you old fucks! Like we're young," and then it just circles on the bottom right, 31. like he's 31, which isn't old,
And he
but
will be old. I'll like to see what he does with being old someday, because he
I know.
talks a big game. You know, he better act his age at some point too. But I love his use of weird. We talked about it yesterday when I was talking about the vegan shirts. I said, getting a shirt that says eating animals is weird. Like, is that going to be triggering enough to people who eat animals to be like, no, I'm not weird? But when MGK says weird, because we heard it first in his diss track for Eminem where he goes, hey, give him some clippers. His fucking beard is weird. And like calling Eminem's beard weird is so funny.
because it's the perfect way to describe it. Because if he said it's like disgusting or like whatever, sporadic or whatever, weird is just a
Sporadic. Did you just watch Clueless this weekend and learn a new word? You
I'm
guys,
still baked.
He literally just watched Clueless with me, and there's a scene where
Wait, I don't remember.
she
They say
goes,
sporadic.
Yes, she's teaching Ty how to be a better, more articulate, and she's like, you know, Ty, like, we'll do it sporadically, and she was like, what does that word share? Like, I don't even know what that word is, and she was like, sporadic. It means once in a while. Try and use it in a sentence today. And then later on, Josh is like, all right, see you around, Ty, and she goes, yeah, I hope not sporadically.
Well, Eminem's beard is sporadic.
Sporadic? No, it's not.
It is because he doesn't have.
It's patchy?
It's not thick. It's
Okay.
well, it's thick, but it looks like it's
It's
like he
once
has
in a
hair
while.
plugs.
His beard is once in a while.
He has like hair plugs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We
Like-
got to get to why
Oh.
would I care?
Yeah. Why do you care?
Why do I care?
Oh man, I don't know if you're gonna care about this one. To be honest, I really don't. It's on the fence for me.
Okay.
Nicole Richie's hair catches on fire while blowing out candles at her 40th birthday party. It's on TikTok. She's blowing out her candles. Her hair. When people
I like that she's 40.
when people get caught on fire,
I like people aging.
they go, and then it like gets bigger, and then they're like, oh, like watch this.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. It really catches.
And her husband wrote the first comment, "That's hot," which is pretty funny.
That's hilarious. So was her hair long in that, or did she have extensions in, Noah?
No, it's just her natural hair, shoulder length.
Dear God, that is my worst nightmare. I do care about this. I hate when my hair burns. Like there's.
Have you ever caught on fire?
I think my hair is going like, you know, it goes like,
Yeah.
like when it burns, a hair burns, it goes,
And
like,
that smell.
oh, that
The
smell.
smell.
I was like, oh, that's what dead fucking.
I know.
Ball
My dad
sacks.
used to come down to his dressing room when I was in high school. Me and Taylor, who you were with last night,
Yeah.
we used to iron our hair.
Taylor's so funny.
Right?
She's
Aren't
so
my
creative.
high school friends
Yeah, she's
insanely
very,
funny?
She's very cool. I like her a lot.
Do you see where I got it and like didn't? I'm not even as funny as them. It's like insane.
She's very.
Kirsten and her.
She's her
are-
own thing, and she's singular. It's pretty amazing.
She's amazing, and but we
Without
used to
trying,
iron our
but yeah,
hair.
yeah.
And like with an actual iron to get that Jennifer Aniston real straight hair, and we had the straightest fucking hair going because irons. We didn't have Chi irons, like hair irons back in high school, early 2000s. We had like shitty ones that would not get hot enough and our hair would still be frizzy until we discovered the actual iron. So we would go downstairs in my dad's, like, you know, my closet, like their little closet room,
Yeah.
and put our hair on it and go and like iron it. And my dad would come downstairs and go, God, it smells like the Holocaust down here. I'm like, what?
Jesus
Why do you know what that? First of all, no, it does. Like, he's like, it's burning hair. It just smells like. It's like, I'm just like, what? That is a.
You're like, we're just
terrible-
trying to be pretty, Dad.
I was like, am
why-
I as skinny as them, Dad?
Yeah, is that what you want? Get
but
on my
yeah,
knee, babe.
I like the smell of burning hair sometimes. I don't know why. Maybe it reminds me of high school.
I saw this guy. He did a shot, and I did this in Greece, where they pour the what's it called, ouzo or whatever,
Like it's a Greek.
Greek liquor, and they pour it in your mouth, and then they light it on fire in your mouth, and then they throw cinnamon. That's a tough word. Cinnamon on top, so it sparks, and it's
So you
called
look
the
like a dragon.
volcano.
Oh.
So I'm like. And then you put out the fire by swallowing it.
Right.
That's the shot. Where I was
mean-
in a bar, like where the guy. So there's a TikTok where it went all over the guy's face, and he's like, and then he knocks out the fire, and then he goes.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Like,
when
just
you're that
dance
drunk,
like-
you cannot feel pain, and when you're that embarrassed of lighting your hair on fire, you don't even like,
You just-
and you have like 3rd-degree burns, and then you look like what a like. Ever like the burn victim face?
but you're dancing.
Not making fun of a burn victim. I'm just saying that oftentimes they are smiling.
Yeah.
Oh dear, we got to bring in your friend.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be weird for me, but also great. My best friend, one of my best friends. Oh wow, there he is. Seth Glass. Can I say your last name? Seth
Yeah, of
Glassman
course.
is here.
You can say anything.
Really?
about it.
Anything? No.
Whatever
Seth
you want.
Glassman is our guest. He is Andrew's college roommate. They met in the dorms. Is that where you met?
Well, we met actually when we were about 10 in summer camp at Kutcher Sports Academy.
Oh.
And so we were friends at camp, and then I found out he was going to Tulane, and I had a different roommate who I got rid of to have Seth be my roommate.
Okay. And Seth, where do you live now, and what do you do for a living?
I currently reside in Los Angeles, and I've always been in the restaurant business.
Okay, I've heard of you.
But it's funny, though, Andrew's original roommate, he claims he looked like me.
Yeah. He goes, I should have been your roommate because we look alike. Like he kept telling us that we look,
Yeah.
so we should have been friends. You
Like
ever have a friend
and
that
the guy, you and your old roommate looked like he looked like you.
he looked like Seth?
Oh, he looked like Seth. So he wanted to be roommates with Seth and kick you out.
Maybe actually. I mean, Seth would have liked that.
Well, I think it was almost like, Andrew, you called me up like almost like you wanted to be my girlfriend. Like, so we knew each other from summer camp, and then he calls me up. You know, we got our roommate assignments, and he calls me up. He goes, Seth, you know, I really want to room with you. And we had to go through this process of switching roommates, and then finally we got together. Little did I know it would not be a good
Yeah,
decision.
Seth,
on my
I wanted
part.
to have you on the show because I have obviously heard about Andrew in college and the penis pump incident. Were you a part of the penis pump story?
I was an intricate
Were you the one that
part of
found the
it.
penis pump while you were looking for a lighter in
was.
his
yeah,
desk?
why are we even friends anymore? You ratted me out.
Yeah, but time heals all
Tell us
wounds,
your
and
side of
it's-
the penis
yeah.
pump story. At what point in college was this? Like, how far into living with Andrew did this happen?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me on. Obviously, Andrew, great friend.
Don't set it up nice before you ruin me.
No, I know, but I'm also like I've become, you know, I listen to the show, and I want to thank Nikki and Noah. I think listening to them, I've kind of gotten to know them, which is great. So I love the show.
Awesome.
Great job,
I feel like I
guys.
know you too. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. So, you know, summer camp in New York, if your parents just wanted to get rid of you for 2 months, so they sent you up. So as a New Yorker, they sent us up to upstate New York. Andrew's parents disliked him so much they sent him all the way from Florida
When I was
to New
when I
York.
was 7,
They just disliked being parents.
it felt personal.
Perhaps it was. I'm trying to lessen the blow, but yes.
They sent my little brother who's 5.
Okay.
But anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and then so now okay, so fast forward. So yeah, freshman year roommates in college, and yeah, I was the one who found the penis pump. So definitely an
Were
intricate
you,
part of that story.
how soon was it a regret that you were living with a guy who, you know, didn't do his laundry, doesn't really know how to take care of himself? Because Andrew truly, like, had no clue how to be an independent person when
Oh
you,
yeah,
when you
it was
deci-
really bad back then.
That was the first time you lived on your own, right?
Yeah.
So how soon was it a
Yeah.
deep regret of yours that you accepted his proposal of living together? Day one. Tell me about like some of his. What could you have not foreseen happening
Okay,
that was
first
happening?
of all, day one, you got so fucked up that I tried to open the door to our dorm and I couldn't because I was hitting your head with the door because you were on the floor, passed out in your underwear and a referee shirt.
Yes, and we will get to that story. No, there's no doubt about it. But the thing, Andrew, the difference between me and Nikki rooming with you now 22 years later, you probably have like this big place in St. Louis. There's probably like some separation, like a living room in between your two bedrooms. I was in the same room. The difference between, and he was at that point, listen, he's grown so much.
Not much.
Andrew is, I loved him back then. I don't regret because there's so many fond memories from that year. But I mean, he was so disgusting underneath, and he's talked about it on the show, I believe. But underneath his sheets in the dorm room, there was M&Ms. So there was M&Ms in between the mattress.
It's good for your back.
Yeah, he really was a little bit lost, but so was I.
Was there a smell issue? Like, were you embarrassed to bring girls back? What was his like? He told me that he was pretty depressed that year, and I mean, it's actually not funny. Like after the penis pump thing, you really got depressed and like never left. Was it weird living with someone who wouldn't leave their bed and like go to class and was just, he said that you almost lit his pile of clothes on fire.
Now I feel bad. Well, now I feel bad.
Don't. He's fine. He's thriving now.
No, because if I contributed to that depression after finding the penis pump,
no, I mean, you definitely did contribute to it, swinging it around,
honestly,
going, "What is this?"
He swung it around. He goes, "What is this?" Remember?
Well, you guys now you talk about it, and you even play this game where you go into each other's room and you try to find something. To me, we didn't have all these toys and all this stuff going around, and I hadn't been privy to that. Andrew was a virgin at the time, but still went and got an STD test. And I honestly didn't know what it was at first. Yeah, and I started waving her around.
You
and
called
stuff like that.
20
But then I
girls.
realized-
You called 20 girls.
Yeah, we forgot that part where you got a room of people. You filled the room with people like a surprise party for him to come back and walk in and see you swinging it around going, "What is this? What is this?" And Andrew, what did you say?
That's my penis pump.
I think similar to maybe comedians now, and you guys could, but I probably crave attention as well.
And
So
you find a penis pump.
I'll
It's like,
take-
I'm sorry, you were definitely going to call someone out on that. You're a freshman.
Yes,
We're all
of
immature
course. I
idiots.
love that he did it. It's amazing.
But then they all left. They just laughed at you and then left the room and left you in there for
and then
8 months.
I tried to make up a story that I bought it as a gag for Seth.
Oh boy.
And that backfired because there was like lotion in it.
Hey,
Like it was.
let me ask you something, guys. If I'm like on this show, does this go on my IMDb?
No.
Okay, but
no.
I don't even have an IMDb. Seth.
Yeah. Don't get.
No. See, okay, so listen. There's a little known fact. I was on an episode of Hell's Kitchen like 10 years ago.
Oh, what did you get yelled at by
Yeah.
old Gordo?
No, I was a judge, and I actually had a line on the show. I was like a celebrity judge. They were doing a competition. And back to your original point, I've been in the restaurant business my whole life. So I was operating a steakhouse at the time, and they were doing these burgers. Like the chefs were doing these burgers, and I had to judge the burgers, and I had a line. And if you go back further, this is not on the IMDb page, but I was in the 4th grade performance of West Side Story.
Oh, okay.
Fourth
Which
grade? They were
was-
doing West Side
Yes.
Story?
Yeah. Well, Andrew and I are 41.
That, I mean,
so
that
we're a
doesn't
little bit older.
make a difference. I just feel like it was.
Oh,
I guess
like
back
an
then they just
yeah.
didn't care about.
Well, Seth
doing
also
tragic-
took an acting class in college, and he thought he was going to be an actor. But you hear his voice; he's from Long Island.
Yeah.
it's very distinct. He talks with his hands. He's like, "Hey, over here, I'm Seth Glassman with gel in my hair," kind of
Who
thing.
did you play in the 4th grade play rendition of West Side Story?
So I was a shark. I was Pepe. My girlfriend in the show was Consuelo. And, as actors and comedians, you guys all appreciate this. I practiced for like 7 months. I went to these rehearsals, 2 rehearsals. I had one line. It was right before the number "I Like to Live in America."
Yeah.
And she's like, I came to America with my heart open, and I came to America with my arms open. And my girlfriend Consuelo said that line. And so the line was, "You came with your
Yes,
mouth open."
I know that line. I know that guy.
Yes. I nailed it. I nailed it. I 7 months of practicing, but I nailed
What,
that
what
one line.
happened? Where did your dream get derailed? When did you give up on being an actor? Because I also had dreams of being an actress and realized I must not be good at this because I'm not getting any roles. When did your dream die?
You know what? I don't think the dream ever really existed.
I think it did though.
I craved the
Okay.
attention, but New Orleans, as far as a professional standpoint, New Orleans really did impact my career because it heightened the interest in the restaurant business. Great city
Yeah.
for food and cuisine and culture. Fell in love with it.
You
and
worked for a guy
moved to
when I got
LA.
arrested. He was in jail on a DUI.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Cafe Nino's. Yeah. So if you want to go originally, I was a pizza
Yeah.
boy. That was my Mama Teresa's on Long Island.
Tell us. Okay, as a
and-
guy in the restaurant industry, tell us as like patrons of restaurants, what are some things you guys are talking shit about us about? Like, what's the most annoying thing to hear about back in the kitchen, or like what's something you guys know about us that we might not know about ourselves in terms of being customers?
Well, everyone thinks of us as, people in the hospitality business, and we like you and we want to take care of you. We don't.
You don't care
So,
about our
just
day.
about-
You don't care that we had a great
No.
evening and that the
Especially-
food we enjoyed our meal and about we're celebrating this anniversary. You don't care.
But Seth, that's your whole thing. You go up there, you go, hey, you want a good table? I got you. I'm going to take care of you. That's not real?
I know. No, secretly I'm lying.
Do you is there a part of you that feels sad inside that you're living a lie? Like you have to go in and maybe you are getting to act every day. This is your.
No, honestly, it would be exhausting. Let's backtrack. I truly do love what I do.
Why do you
even
love what you do?
20 years later. It might be that people pleaser in me. I like to show people a
very
good
good at
time.
it.
I get genuine satisfaction out of people, especially now. You talk about the last 2 years. So people are using, this is an opportunity to get away, right? To have 2-3 hours with their friends and family, enjoy themselves. And to be a part of that and to see their smiles on their faces is actually pretty rewarding.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. Do you do you have a family? Do you have a wife? Do you have kids?
Never married, no kids.
The restaurant industry is very
close with-
I feel like there are a lot of single people. Like it tends to just breed like people that just hang out at late night, at late hours. You guys live kind of just like party lifestyles. I guess it starts out that way. As you age, have you kind of like stopped doing that, or are you still in that lifestyle?
Yeah, definitely approaching 8 years sober.
Oh, congratulations.
So definitely don't party anymore. Thank you.
What led
yeah,
you there?
I mean-
if you don't mind me asking.
I don't mind at all. I thought you guys can
Great.
ask me anything. It started affecting my life. Like I feel like I couldn't be. It sounds like generic, but like the best person I could be. So once it started preventing, my production and the way I was.
Can you give me an example of a time where you were just like, oh, like was it the hangovers? Was it the being drunk itself? The saying things you didn't mean? Following up in the morning with texts of like, what did I do? Just being tired. How was it affecting you?
No, you know what? I was always a fun drunk. I mean, you could go back to Andrew's first story. I mean, I was 17 years old, 1997. Well, we were freshmen in 1998, but I was still 17. So I wasn't even 18. We go down to the French Quarter for the first time, 11 o'clock in the morning. We're walking down the French Quarter, all of us in the doors, and I asked for a shot of tequila and a beer. And the guy lines up 3 shots of tequilas and 3 beers. At 11, I said, what is this? This is 3-for-1 happy hour at
For
11
a
o'clock.
quarter.
So at that point, I knew it was going to be an interesting 4 years, and it kind of, that night, did lead to
Passing
me
out in front of the
on the
door.
floor.
You got a big head
on
though.
the
I don't.
floor
Maybe
with-
you were like across the room.
He had a lot of gel in his hair, too. He's fine. Like the Dorians are going to.
still
Yeah,
on
yeah.
gel.
He
Yeah,
still
to
uses
this-
that
to this
goop
day.
gel, like the.
Oh, Jesus
wait,
Christ.
I didn't mean that word.
Dep.
Dep. Yeah.
Yes.
I combined. Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. So during the pandemic, people started going for like toilet paper and sanitizer. I had a buddy of mine, because I was actually in the Midwest at the time, and I had a buddy of mine from California, and he was worried that I was going to run out of gel. He sent me like 2 tubs of that Dep. so I wouldn't run out.
What
during the
happens to your
pandemic.
hair if it
So,
doesn't have that in it? Like, are you even willing to try?
It's good. It's good
Yeah.
dry. It's good dry.
That's what Andrew
It's
says
just
every night
I do like it like that.
when he masturbates. Wait, so okay, I want to just get back really quickly. You're coming up on
Yes.
8 years of not of being sober. Andrew's coming up on 3.
Yeah, 3 years, December.
I'm coming up on 10 of just sober from alcohol. But
Wow,
thank you.
congratulations, bro.
I'm wondering, like, for people listening, I think that whenever the subject comes up, it's kind of just interesting because I'm sure people have either stopped listening at this point if they still want to keep drinking and they don't want to hear about people who, because I remember when I still wanted to drink, I didn't want to hear about people being sober or like that lifestyle because you just think it's so impossible. Like, your life, I'm guessing, revolved around drinking probably every night. It was who you were. It was part of your personality. What was it like when you first stopped? Like, how was it as hard as you thought? Was it, yeah.
Well, to your point, I don't think everyone tunes out. I don't preach, right? I don't tell people what to
Sure.
do or what's best for them and stuff like that. So, when asked about it in this perspective, I just tell, my story, right? What was
Yeah.
best for me, and how my life improved after I stopped. But yeah, I mean, there was, in the restaurant business, it is conducive, but there's a lot of, jobs that are stressful or late hours and stuff like that. But I don't know if all the jobs necessarily have like a full bar
Yes.
at your
It's
disposal.
not Mad Men anymore.
And all
Yeah.
that.
But I guess I'm asking,
Yeah, so
did you, when let's say 9 years ago, could you have ever envisioned your life without alcohol? Was that something that, like, could you have pictured your life without alcohol?
no, it wasn't until I realized that, like, yeah, I wanted to do it for me. A few other people had mentioned it to me.
Sure.
Oh, it might be a good idea to stop.
Yeah.
But until I physically decided that it would be the best thing, and then, everyone's got their own story. For me, I'm blessed because I really don't think about it all that much, and as someone who's around it
Yeah.
daily, literally.
Does it make dating hard? Let's talk about that because I find that it's just it's such a social lubricant. People, liquid courage, all these things. Like the idea of having sex with someone for the first time, even making that first move with a girl, all of these things are or a guy, it's so much easier when you've had a couple drinks in you. Like drinking on a first date just eases this awkwardness that's in the air of like, are we going to see each other naked later? Did you find that your dating life changed a lot after you ceased to drink?
Not for
Yeah.
me. Not for me. I would assume that there are some women who are like a little weird about it, right? Oh, should I drink around him? Or I want to drink like a lot.
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. I don't know. It could affect.
I'm talking more about your
who
experience
you're
though.
dating.
Let's like less.
He's pretty
No.
personable.
Really,
person.
like,
yeah, like
so
he
what
doesn't.
was compelling you to drink in the first place then? Because so often I think people drink because they want to get out of the discomfort of socializing or like, for me it was like, oh, I really want to have sex, but I'm so scared of it. Oh, this thing makes it very easy for me to be intimate with someone. Like, what was drinking helping you with?
Sure, I'm sure there was underlying issues that I was trying to push
Yeah.
down, and trying to hide. But I also liked, again, this goes back to partly, the people pleaser and wanting to be the host, right? I wanted it to be the life of the party,
Right.
right? So it wasn't enough to, if Andrew had 6, I also am competitive. If Andrew had 6 drinks, I wanted to have 8.
Yes.
I was
You were
always
very
like
competitive
rallying
with-
people.
yeah.
Let's do shots. So it was like, and Andrew was very nice for saying it. I was always a very personable guy to begin with, but I wanted to take it to even.
What were the
another
3
level.
things you bragged about in college that you never experienced?
Well, this was before we had cameras on our cell phone, so I never really owned the camera.
Okay.
These are the 3. This is how he'd introduce himself pretty much. He's like,
I'm Seth. I don't own a camera.
I don't own a camera. I've never had a nosebleed, and I never farted.
What?
And then what
Yeah,
did you say when
yeah.
you go, well, what about when you shit? He goes, oh, this sound when the shit hits the water.
Wait, are
Yeah.
you just not someone who farts?
Nah, I finally
For
farted.
8
So you
years
have to
you've been
cross
farting.
that. So I held it in for so long that now it's been a real problem.
That's hilarious. Has your nose bled yet?
But no, nose has not bled. But and even without the phones, I did have like a little Polaroid at some point.
All right.
So out of those three, we're actually only down to one.
All right.
And if someone really wanted to knock it loose, they could probably punch me in the face, and I'm sure it would bleed. So then,
And then you
we
probably
could cross
fart. What's the
everything off
restaurant you
list.
work at so people can punch you in the face and maybe you could promote it on here? I don't know.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. Nikki alluded to it in one of the first episodes where she was doing a comedy bit and she was outside Katana and they wouldn't let her.
That
So
woman they were so weird to me about standing there.
I know, Nikki. I want you to know I fixed it.
You did?
I fixed it. I addressed it. I addressed the issue, but I didn't bring up your name or anything like that. But
I've had
addressed
dinner
it.
there,
I
and it was such a good dinner and such a good experience. Actually,
So wait, so what happened? So
I was waiting for David Spade to come pick me up. I was wearing a ridiculous outfit because I was doing a paparazzi shot before then.
the
I was wearing
pink
that pink
outfit?
outfit.
Okay.
And I didn't want to stand like on the street on Sunset. Like it was still at like light outside. And I was waiting for him to come pick me up. And so I was standing in front of Katana and they go, you can't stand here because you're not like going to dinner here. And I was like, he was supposed to pick me up at the store, but I didn't want to even walk by the store because there were comics there and I was dressed like, like Cowboy Barbie. And so I go, can I just stand here? And the guy kind of didn't say anything. And then the woman came up and she was like sorting menus. And now that it's fixed, I feel bad about this, but I just go, she kind of looked at me and was like, can I help you? And was like very nice, like, hi. Like, and I go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not eating here. I'm just like waiting for a friend to pick me up. I'm so embarrassed because of the way I'm dressed. And she was like, you can't stand here. And I was just like, please. I go, it's going to be like a minute. And she was like, I'm sorry, you can't. And I was just like, really? And I had to walk so there was construction on the sidewalk. There was no sidewalk. So I had to walk into this like fake, like sidewalk they've made on the
people
on the
probably
street.
thought you were a hooker. Let's be honest.
They totally did. And then David Spade picked me up, so they 100% do. So I get in the car, and I literally just, I pulled down my mask, and I was like, thank you so much to the guy, that ratted me out. I just gave him a real look, and I felt very victorious. But thanks for fixing that. And I honestly did have a great meal at Katana
that
one
food's
time.
so good there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that company, Innovative Dining Group, Suchiroku,
Oh,
Poa,
yeah.
Katana. I mean, I lived I lived in LA for the better part of 20 years, so a lot of it, on the Sunset Strip and upscale, nice restaurants and great company to work for.
Yeah. Well, thanks for fixing that. Let's get to the final thought. I want to know, and I hate this question, but why are you single?
Okay. Do we want to talk at all about the frat house burning down or not?
Don't try to flip it on us. We're talking about your fire.
I mean, the frat house burning down is such a tragic story because Andrew got this goddamn cat with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That you were probably just trying to impress her. So you got this expensive cat
Yeah,
that didn't even live a
$250.
year.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
couldn't keep it in her dorm, so it ended up living with you in your dorm room.
No, fraternity house.
Or your frat house
Cat
in
in
your
a frat.
room.
Yeah.
Which was also where the lyrics for "Hit the Bottle."
Oh
She Hits
my
the Bottle.
God!
You
Did you
found that,
find
right?
Hit the Bottle?
Oh yeah, I of course I read it, but the lyrics burned down. He had to redo it.
Wait, so
See,
tell me
everything
when you
burned down.
found his poetry. Tell me how did you find that? That's better than the penis pump.
No, a lot better than the penis pump. I have a little different spin on the
Okay.
fire, the burning.
Okay.
Okay. So literally, it was after finals. It was on May 2000. Okay, right? Yeah, May 1999 or whatever, May 2000. So we finished finals for the year. I was actually going back to New York the next day. I was going to come back to New Orleans for summer school. So we go out to dinner. There's like 5 or 6 of us. I believe when the house started burning, only one person was in the house. Andrew could correct me. I think it was Paul. He ran out of the house. Unfortunately, the cat didn't make it. The firemen.
The
when
cat
they
didn't make
go-
it. Paul lived.
go-
Paul,
There
I was
a
like,
pause.
wait.
So-
Okay, the cat didn't make it. Yes.
He held the cat up and he said, "Whose cat is this?" But it was,
Yeah.
it was dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sadly enough. So that was
Did he
the
go,
mortality.
what
Sorry about
is
that.
this? As
Pretty
he was
much,
swinging it
yeah.
around like he
like
was
a
the penis pump?
helicopter, like North Carolina. Yeah, he
Yeah.
threw it away in the
Yeah, I
garbage.
love the way you guys say things like jackpot. I can get into that. And now it's tattooed on it, jackpot. Okay. So I go home. Okay, but here's the thing. So the house is burning down. We get back to the house. I'm looking. So we're like 3 blocks away, and we're like, oh, there's a fire. There's a fire. And then as we're getting closer, we're like, whoa, it's the frat house. And so we spent like the next 2 or 3 hours outside the frat house, basically watching it burn. And I got a flight the next morning to go home. I was surprising my mother for Mother's Day. So I don't know whether to get on this flight, what to do. I have no idea. My stuff's burning down, you know. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to surprise her for Mother's Day. I just get on the flight. So I surprised her, and it was a nice Mother's Day gift and stuff like that. But I walked into the house, and this is, again, showing my age. I had a newspaper under my hand. I read the newspaper. And I still had soot on my face from the smoke. And she hadn't seen me all semester. And she's like, what happened to you? What happened to you? I said,
You look
Andrew
like a
burned down the
chimney
frat house.
sweep
And
from Mary Poppins.
It's like Andy Garcia
Yes,
from that
it's-
movie where he saves someone, you know?
So
So wait, so yeah,
Backlash. Backtrack.
what is it?
No? I don't know. But in any case, my mom goes, well, what do you want to do? She was very nice. She's like, let's go get some underwear and socks. Because I didn't have anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
he burned
referee
everything.
shirt. You're welcome. Yeah.
wait,
Yeah,
you
lost-
found
lost the
Andrew's
whole-
poetry though, which he had written in his depressive
This kind
state
of
after the
explains
penis
why
pump.
I lit the house on fire to get rid
Yeah,
of the
to get
poetry.
rid of any evidence that you had emotions. So where did you find this poetry, and what did you think when you found it?
So technically, I guess we were roommates 2 years because we were roommates in the dorms freshman year. And then sophomore year in the Pike House, we weren't living in the same room, but there was like 10 rooms in the Pike House, and he lived across the hall. Now, our room, people like to hang out in. It was me and our other friend Glenn. It was nice. It was comfortable. His room was, again, disgusting. He still wasn't at his
It
adult
would have been
stage yet.
animal abuse to have that, like, the cat,
Yeah.
did itself a favor by dying in that inferno based on the conditions
Pretty
it was
much,
living in.
Pretty much. The cat wanted out. The cat wanted out.
The room was a litter box.
But no, I think in the whole mess of the room, there was like this piece of paper on the floor, and I picked it up, and I went back and I started reading it to Glenn, and then he later explained to us that it was about his mother.
And it was called She Hits the Bottle. She Goes Full Throttle.
Yeah.
Were there any other?
Well, I know you guys are trying to do some
Yes.
songs together, so I think this should be revisited as you
add a couple
enter
minor-
your music
I think
order.
it's a great idea to write She Hits the Bottle. We need to do that as a country song, Andrew.
I think I got a good singer for it too.
I think it would really help you process some feelings.
Yeah,
And
I'm down. I'll
I
write
would
it.
do anything for the charred remains, like burnt like a pirate's map.
That would look so cool, like in a
Oh,
book. Oh, and
God.
I'd frame it, and everyone would go fucking.
All right.
insane.
Well, why are you single? We have 1 minute.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I could sum it up in 1 minute. I mean, I think there's women over the course of my career that it might have worked with, but to me, I mean, what,
You just said
what
over
does
the
that
course of
mean?
my
So,
career.
I don't-
I think that just answers everything.
yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. That's a bad
Yeah.
sign. Oh, maybe I could be on that. Maybe I could be on
I
that.
mean, honestly, if we did a Halfway Island with like older people, which I would love to do because these dating shows, no one knows what they want in their 20s. These things aren't going to last.
Yeah.
I would love to have someone like you because
he'd be
I only
amazing.
ask because I'm 37 and single as well, and I get asked that a lot, and it's like I am interested now in
All the time.
people our age who haven't like had long. I mean, I don't know about your dating history, but aren't married with kids, and
Yes.
and why we've chosen that because clearly we've chosen it. Because if we wanted it, you can get it,
Yeah.
especially if you're a man.
Yes. Yeah. So I think a few things. So first on you're right. It would have been awesome when a few people got eliminated. If Andrew came out,
We
I mean, he would have
tried.
been the only one with like a
We
great,
tried.
a gray
We wanted to
beard.
have him be a character
Okay.
named Ragu,
Yeah,
who just
Ragu.
was an older man that showed up. He had these like neon sunglasses, like blue blockers. He was at these gold chains, and so he would just show up as a joke. Like we would show up on set, and we'd be like, "Ragu's here," and he's just wearing like basketball shorts with like dirty flip flops.
And like in my head, I was like, maybe they will put me on tonight.
Yeah,
like,
there
maybe
was- there was a
joke will
sneaking
happen.
suspicion.
Yeah, yeah.
The short answer, I always envisioned myself being a young father, but yeah, I never really fell in love with someone to the point where I was like, all right, I want to spend the
Well,
rest
good
of my
for
life with this woman.
you knowing that you're not just going to do it to get it done and you're waiting for the right person because that's hard to do. And yeah, like we all have dreams of certain things, and maybe you dream of being a young father or an actor, and those things don't end up looking like you think they're going to look. And I always look at David Letterman becoming a father at the age of like 60 or
Yeah.
something. Like I think it's probably something he wished he had done sooner, but it's definitely not something he regrets having done later. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that changed him. The Letterman we have now, that's just like this, just his young son, he's like, you know, probably in his 70s at this point, but his son is like 12, 13. I don't know. I think there's something, being an old dad isn't so bad. And I think
Well,
it
think
could still
about
be in your
a
future.
grandfather is usually a great like father figure. Like
Yes.
they've let the ego go. They're
Yeah.
not working as much. So you might as well have a kid at 70.
Yes.
They're gonna see you die in 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's fine. You got a cool beard.
A little wiser.
You're wiser.
Wiser, and you don't, they don't need to be picked up or like have you around when they graduate.
Everyone's like, I
That's
gotta
all-
throw a ball with my son. It's like, shut up. Like he has plenty of kids to throw a ball
Yeah,
with.
it's fine. Seth, it was great having you on the show. You were amazing and
Yeah.
just
Wow.
a perfect guest for
you.
someone who,
Privilege.
you know, might not be broadcasting every day of their life. It's sometimes iffy, but you were great.
Yeah,
and I thank
he's-
you so much.
He's really good.
You'll have to come back again. It was really fun. Thank you for being here. We got to go. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll be back here tomorrow.
Do you want to hit the jackpot, Seth?
Do I get to say?
Yeah, you want to jackpot with
Like
us?
Yeah,
All
I'll
right,
do
don't be
jackpot.
and
Don't be
jackpot.